I just went with coils, and I bought some coils set up through Swift, and then because he's a good buddy of mine over there at Leonard, and I put them on, and it wasn't working. And I was like, dude, I got like a 4-inch gap, dude. And he told me, my buddy was like, man, I think you saw the kit wrong.
They played you,
I was
man.
like, dude, there's no way it's saw the kit wrong. Dude, there's no way.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today I'm with Mr. Ashton. Mr. Ashton, thank you so much for making some time for us.
No problem.
So tell us, man, what do you drive?
I drive a 1999 BMW E36 M3. It's well, the original color was blue, and it was pretty much started off as going to be a project car. So I knew that I wanted something wide. I wanted it red. I wanted it, track orientated. I wanted to just build something in my image that I had in my head. So my buddy from Greddy actually had a wide body BMW E36. So I ended up seeing the kit on the car. I fell in love with it. Believe it or not, the next day I was like, I gotta do this. So I bought my buddy's El Toro blue E36. So I bought the car, and then once I bought it, I ordered the kit. 2 days later, ordered the wheels from Japan. Talked to my buddy from Yokohama. He hooked me up a set of tires, and just really started building the car. I knew exactly on the interior components that I wanted to do. Obviously, I had to have a roll bar. Obviously, the Recaro seats. So I just pretty much knew the vision that I was trying to accomplish, and just pieced everything together. And then it took about start to finish about 2 years to build a car.
Wow.
So it was more of a the suspension was more of a pain than anything, because unfortunately I'm not a big fan of air ride suspension, and this car would not go low enough with the standard
coilover setups that they have.
So I had to actually talk to my buddies over Swift Racing. They made me a full custom rear shocks, front and rear, to get the car to sit the way I wanted it to. So that was a lot of back and forth, and we had to revise the shocks, I think maybe about 2 or 3 times. So once we got that taken care of, and he was tripped because I needs to go lower, and eventually we kind of got it dialed in on that setup. And then everything else is just taking it to the body shop, having to paint everything. I installed the whole entire kit. I cut the rear fenders, sealed the rear fenders, put all the rivets, did everything, did all the vents on it. Just went through the whole, just kind of did as much as I could possibly do.
Right.
I did all the interior myself, the roll bar, the rear seat delete, the door panels. So pretty much just did everything I possibly could. I lightened up put a new sunroof delete. Just trying to make it as light as possible, because the next phase is going to be getting it on the track.
To actually track
it. And then my buddy's going to be dialing up suspension, corner balancing, getting all that stuff, ready to go. So I'm definitely excited on that. So engine-wise, as of right now, I just have a full race exhaust, just 3-inch all the way out. So most likely I'm going to either turbo the vehicle, turbo the motor, or maybe if I can find a good deal, maybe put a V8 in it, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of, we'll kind of, I'm always looking for, best bang for your buck. What's going to give me this performance? I know turbo kit wise, it's, you don't need much for these cars, and the car's already light as well too. So it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to be looking forward to.
Now, before you put the kit, did you already know that there was going to be the suspension was going to be such a pain?
So that's the thing. So
nobody,
I love it how nobody wants to tell you anything. Everyone just says, "Oh yeah, you're probably just going to run air." And I'm sitting back in my head, I'm like, "Why do I want to run air? I've never run air." I totally respect the guys with air, like VIP cars. It looks super badass. But I'm like, this is a track car. I don't really want to deal with the air. Obviously, plus it had the price tag for air is a lot more.
Right.
So I just went with coils, and I bought some coils set up through Swift, and then because he's a good buddy of mine over there at Leonard, and I put them on, and it wasn't working. And I was like, dude, I got like a 4-inch gap, dude. And he told me, my buddy was like, man, I think you saw the kit wrong.
They played you,
man.
I
was like, dude, there's no way it's saw the kit wrong. Dude, there's no way. So I actually talked to some guys in Japan, and they were like, oh, we're running the KW suspension. And I'm like, dude, KW's like, dude, KWs don't even go that low. So then I called KW, and they're like, oh no, we don't do that. We don't customize, suspension like that. I'm like, dude, what is going on here? So make a long story short, the guy in Japan that has one of these that tracks it, that's the full race car, full cage, all that, he made his own custom rear shocks, and then I found out, okay, here we go. So then obviously I knew I was on the right track of trying to get it dialed in. But it was, yeah, it was a little bit irritating because I had no idea that the suspension of all things weren't gonna have this car to sit right.
That's hilarious.
And I'd say I might be the only one or the only second guy that actually is running static or coilovers on this vehicle. Everyone else that I have seen,
it's on air.
They put them on air, or they have the coils and they realize, like, dude, this thing isn't going low enough. And, you know, obviously you want it to, you know, sit correctly. You don't want to have this huge gap and stuff. So, yeah, that was definitely one of those things where, you know, it took a little bit of time and it was a little bit frustrating. But at the end of the day, you know, just
it works. It looks good.
Pretty much just with the Rocket Bunny kit. All I wanted to do was just make it kind of the OEM-ish, which was the amber corners, and then just the little plastic caps. I'm most likely going to be replacing this though and get more of a track-orientated front lip, like a you know, polyurethane front lip. This is cool, but I kind of isn't really exactly my style.
Right.
So that's going to get changed up. I obviously wanted to get some vents in there for you know, for the vehicle, for the motor, and then I was kind of anal when I did get the car completely resprayed. There were the little air nozzles for the windshield. I got those shaved and just smoothed out, just make it as clean as possible.
Wiper delete as well, right?
Yeah, wiper deletes. Yeah, correct. Wheel setups are Workmeisters. They are custom finish, which they call the brush line finish. And then also the faces are custom as well too. I think I forgot the name of. I think it's a gray finish that they have. I don't know the exact name for it. But the fronts are 9.5. I think they're negative 40 in the front, and then the rear is going to be 10.5, and it's going to be negative 50.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's definitely a really big. You can run a really low offset, of course, with the Rocket Bunny kits. You know, plus, and you get to run a meaty tire. I think that's like one of the big things that you see on a lot of cars nowadays, and everybody wants the biggest lip possible. I could have went with a bigger lip, but I think when you just get to a point, it's not really classy anymore. It's just kind of overkill. You just have to trying to get the biggest dish possible. I just wanted something that wasn't you know, too over the top, but at the same time just kind of keep it clean and run a nice, you know, meaty tire.
Right.
Obviously for
and
the track purposes.
Somewhat functional as well, right?
100% functional. Yeah, and the problem is, unfortunately, with these kits, you do run into fitment issues in the front because you're running, you know, this offset changes. You have the kit, and then you have to, you know, you really have to do a lot of work on the front inner fender wells to get the turning clearance and all that kind of stuff. So that took some time.
Nothing your friends tell you. They just say, go get the kit.
Yeah, no one says anything. No one says a damn thing. Yeah, you just say, hey,
they said it was going to be fun.
Yeah, here, you want the kit? Here you go, no problem. Right, thanks.
It'll bolt on.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So exactly, it bolts on one way or another. So then, yeah, it was pretty much. This is the second set of tires. They're the Yokohama 8008s.
What tire size is? I don't know.
The tire size, I think I'm running. Oh, you know, I'm not even too sure. I think it's a 235/40 in the front, and I think I ended up going with the 265/35 in the rear.
Why these wheels?
You know what? These wheels, these are my favorite wheels to date. I've had a lot of different wheel setups on a lot of different vehicles over the years, but the Workmeisters are just such a clean, classic car. And I'll be honest, I'm a huge RWB fan. I love those cars. My girlfriend's like, I don't want a ring. She's like, I just want you to buy me an RWB. Which
really?
We all, yeah.
She's a keeper.
Yeah. But we all know how expensive those are.
Super expensive.
But you know, the wheel setup they have, the wide body, just the old school look. I mean, I just love the car. So to me, this is kind of like the poor man's RWB.
I would agree.
And that's kind of what I wanted to do.
So tell us about this rear windshield. Where did you get it done?
So, it's a company called Hard Motorsports, and I believe they're somewhere back east. And they are actual plexiglass. They're ready for the track. I just love, obviously, the design of it.
Yeah.
You know, you probably, I mean, between the weight-wise, you're maybe about, you know, you're probably losing maybe about 8 pounds. But at the same time, everything adds up.
Right.
You know? And I really haven't seen anybody have these windows on this vehicle. I try to search, try to find, and I haven't really.
definitely not with the cutout or the design.
Yeah, I mean, if they sell them, I haven't seen anybody actually post them on their vehicles. So you know, for me to know that they sell these, and I haven't seen anything on a vehicle, I was like, I definitely want to buy these, and I just think they look badass.
They do.
I mean, they just tie the car in, and
right.
The setup they're trying to go for. Yeah, I just love them. I mean, they're really definitely a nice little piece to add to the vehicle. This is also I installed this as well, which is just a sunroof delete. It's just a little cap, so I ended up doing that as well. It's always good too on, of course, track cars. More weight you can save at the top. Overall, it's going to be a lot better. I mean, this car it's a little go-kart. I mean, it is
really.
I mean, it may not be the fastest thing, but when you're on the track, it's not about how much horsepower you have. It's about handling the car setup, and just overall just having a good time. So.
All right, man. So tell us about the interior. What do you got going on?
Okay, so the interior is pretty straightforward. These are also lightweight door panels.
Oh, wow.
I installed these two as well. They have like a little pull strap, pretty basic for your track cars. It's kind of funny because this little piece, they offer this other type of pull strap, and I was actually kind of bugged about it. I'm like, dude, I might have two pull straps. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna integrate. So I made this piece. Just took some plastic, kind of took a Dremel, kind of cut it, fabricated a little bit, put it in there. Just something simple. That way I can still have it, and it's not
that's cool.
There's not so many pull strings, pull straps. So yeah, I kind of did these, which is nice. It saves weight savings as well too. I have the Recaro SPGs, and then obviously the OMP steering wheel, and I also have the shift knob. And then on the interior, kind of show you. It's kind of funny, but I don't know if you can see it or not. But this center console had the armrest on there, and then I just kind of grabbed a piece of sheet metal in the back portion, just kind of fabricated a little bit, sealed it up, just kind of made it really just super clean. Whatever I felt like I needed, or whatever I need or don't.
Whatever you don't need, yeah.
Yeah, I would just kind of do it tailored to how I want it to look. Believe it or not, I still wanted cup holders. And
you get thirsty in the track, so
yeah, you know what I mean. And then the car will still have AC, so it's pretty much still little bits and stuff. And then the rear is the complete rear seat delete as well too. I think it's MK is the company that makes it. Don't quote me, but I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And so just it's a really nice piece, rear seat delete. You just kind of put everything together, kind of make sure everything fits properly. Because the interior actually used to be a gray and like a lighter gray color.
Oh, okay. So like this one, right? Maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't really done anything with the dash, so I try to get as much black as I could. That's another reason why I got rid of the door panels. Because of the color, and they're actually extremely heavy. The rear deck lid on that one side too was also this component right here. This one was this one was also gray, so had that redone in black. Just all the little things, just to kind of tie everything together, just make it as clean as possible.
I've always liked black interiors much better than any other
the
color.
colors and stuff. Yeah, so with the color combo, with the original color was blue and the gray interior. I used to actually have a Porsche 997 that had these seats in it, so I just held on to these seats.
They're molded to your body.
They're small. The SPGs are pretty small, but they're actually a really comfortable seat. And I mean, that's pretty much what I ended up going through interior. Shout out is going to be to my buddy Chris, Sterling Autocon. He's the one that also helped me with the kit. He and I, spent a few days on this thing, getting everything properly, looking correct. And my buddy Larry for Yokohama Tires gave me a nice good setup of the 8008s. And then my buddy Larry, Leonard over at Swift Racing helped me out big time with the suspension, trying to get everything dialed in correctly. As many times I'd asked to to help me out with different spring setups and trying to get everything dialed in. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, and then also too, it's Westminster Auto Collision. The future plans for the cars, of course, is going to get the suspension completely dialed in, quarter balancing, and then also for the motor wise, most likely I want to definitely do put a turbo kit on there, trying to get at least between 350 to 380 wheel horsepower, which is not a lot, but it's more than enough because the car's probably going to weigh maybe around 2,700 pounds.
Plenty.
And it's pretty much just get it just more get it more dialed in. I mean, I feel like everything's the way it should sit, the way it looks. It's now just time to get it, ready for the track.
So what he's trying to say is there's going to be no engine shot today.
No engine shot today. No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So hopefully invites us back once he does the front splitter, rear stuff, and then the motor and everything. So
correct, exactly.
Like always,
most likely what I'm going to do is he's going to be pulling the motor, trying to do probably a refresh, break it down, see what we need to do. And then do it right, because I don't want to get into something. And I've seen a lot of people with their other projects, and their projects never get done.
They rush it,
or they buy all these parts, and they realize like, oh, wait a minute, like, oh, dude, this came up or something happened, and then they got to sell it. Or I'd rather once I have the vision or what I really want to do, then I'm just execute 100% and not waste any time, and money, unfortunately.
Definitely,
because it's not cheap.
It really isn't. Yeah. All right, Mr. Ashton, thank you so much for making time for us.
Awesome.
Doesn't look cold, but it is actually pretty cold today. So
yeah, it's a little
chilly. Thank you so much for making time for us, and I can't wait for the future upgrades, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Same here.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
It's badass, man. Now you're making me regret my choice.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, 2014 to 15, they got motor.